Hello builders, and welcome to another stone building video for ya. Today we have for you the Wolverines. Wait a minute, not that one. No. Make that a little bit more realistic, please. Wait, no. Not that, that's all wrong too. No. More furry, more real, more small. There we go, that's looking better. Oh, he's a little angry. Can we make him a little bit more cuter? You know, that's pretty good too. He's cuter, he's fluffier, but he's still a little angry. Turn it down just a little bit. There we go. There, nice, sleepy little cute Wolverines. That's what we got for you. No adamantium claws this time. So we're starting off this build by just copying our fox little viewing area, then just adjusting it for the Wolverines, coloring it up a little bit, throwing some Wolverines on the wall, and boom, done. That way it keeps the buildings looking all very similar for this area, and it also saves us time on building. If you want to see how I built that, feel free to check out my fox video. Also featured heavily in this video that I had built in the fox one is the little center hill with the tree and the sleeping den underneath. So feel free again to check that out on how I built all this. I will leave a link in the description down below. With that quick building copied and pasted over, it's time to come in and start editing the terrain for this exhibit. Now editing the terrain for this one proved to be a bit of a challenge, as we had the viewing area pretty high and the sleeping area for the Wolverines pretty low. But I relish a challenge because I hate flat exhibits. So you know what, this just gives me a chance to make a really cool shaped exhibit that isn't flat. And to help the Wolverines getting in and out of their den, we create this small underground climbing frame out the back end of their exhibit so that they can crawl through and emerge from their den on the other side. While on the opposite side of the den, we leave a large opening for the keepers to get in there and clean if they want to. Well, I say if they want to. They don't really have much of a choice in the matter. Not if they want a job. If they want to get paid, they better get in there and clean. So, to allow the Wolverines to come all the way up, we cover this up to make it look like a proper little tunnel. Add some rocks in there, because you know I love my rock work. And then we just cover the whole thing up with, you guessed it, more rocks. And you know I love putting waterfalls in my habitats, so let's get that done. But this one proved to be a bit of a challenge, considering that the shape of the whole habitat was very wonky. I usually like having areas for the water to flow through an exhibit, so there's an entrance and an exit, but that was proving to be a bit difficult with the shape. But ultimately I came up with a solution to have the water flowing into a little underground cave system that is, well, essentially non-existent, but at least looks like it's there. And to accomplish that, we used the pre-built waterfall pieces, sunk them into the ground to make it look like a little river, and then we covered up with rocks to make it look a little bit more natural. Of course, I was having a little bit of trouble getting the water to flow in there in the first place. I had to adjust the glass multiple times, and then it occurred to me that I had to raise the glass up, put the water in, and then lower the glass. It's a weird interaction between the fencing and the water in the game. Not too sure why you have to have the water in first and then lower the fence, but hey, it worked, and I'm not going to question it much more than that. And now it's time for some more glorious rock work. As you will see, there's going to be a lot of rocks in this exhibit, as there tend to be a lot of rocks in all my exhibits, especially this one, as the Wolverines come from a more rocky climate area. Now, that quick little detour of me making sure the exhibit had a proper barrier around it, let's come in and start working on that waterfall. So again, I use these quick little pre-built waterfalls, sink them into each other into the side of the mountain, and then we cover them up with rocks to make them look like they're flowing out of the side of the mountain. And of course we need to change the color of our viewing area just so it matches our little Wolverines a little bit. So we go with a little bit of a brown just to match their lovely little brown coats. And now it's back to doing the rock work. To do a nice big stretch of rock wall like this, just create one little random section and then copy paste it over as you need to. It helps make things a little bit faster for your builds. And if your rock wall is looking a little bit repetitive, feel free to go in with a little bit of touch-ups here and there, throw some random rocks, delete a couple rocks, and boom. And it looks like a proper little mountain. With most of the rock work nearly complete, we come in and start adding some toys and feeders. I usually place these toys all over the place in my exhibits after I finish most of the rock work, and it helps guide the way for the rest of the build. Aside from all the toys and feeders, we also need to put some climbing frames in, because Wolverines love to climb. So we come in and start adding a few little things along the edges of the glass so that guests can have a nice view of the Wolverines as they climb around. And because we have those big old tree roots in the center of the viewing area for the den, we have to come in and add them in here just to get that theme continuing over. And you know what? It helps create the illusion for guests that they are actually in nature and not in an artificial zoo, which they really are. But you know, we create that illusion for the little bit of escapism, and it just makes things look a little bit more pretty in the end too. Now the Wolverines could just walk out of their den, you know, like little plebs, but why not have them go out in style? Let's create these little climbing frames all over the back end of their exhibit so they can have fun and do their little Wolverine climbing using the little adamantium claws. Wait, no, not that one. Sorry, get that one out of here. Put back the other one. There we go, that's better. I love my barriers to look as natural as possible, so let's add in a little bit of glass and add some rocks to cover it up, just to make it all look like it's part of the mountainside. And with more rock work, we come in and start decorating the edges of our little education area just to further blend it in with nature by just adding in some rocks around the edges. I was trying to figure out what to do with this space, and then it occurred to me, one waterfall is really nice. What about two waterfalls? That's gotta be double nice, right? So there, got double waterfalls coming in. And like the first waterfall, we're going to use the same kind of style. We're going to sink in these pre-made waterfalls and then make a little river out of them, flowing down into an underwater cave system. Now for a little bit of extra detailing, we come in and start adding in all these little rock piles to add a little bit more of a rubble feel to this mountainous terrain. And feeling a little bit different, I didn't want to constantly be using the pre-built waterfalls, so we come in and make a waterfall out of the special effects on this little rock wall we've made. And then afterwards we go through the waterfalls that we had created previously and add a little bit of rapids effect to them, just to make a nice little bit of a splash. And let's add just a couple little rocks right here to hide the keeper entrance from the guests. I never like having my keeper entrance visible by the guests if I can help it. See, and you thought we were done with the rock work, but no, the rock work is never done in my exhibits. That's just the point where I have to stop doing it and move on to other things. Otherwise I could just keep adding rocks all day long. And that's what we did here. We just kept adding rocks to the middle of the exhibit, create these lovely little walkways for the Wolverines to go through. To brighten this exhibit up, let's put a little base coat of green paint. I mean green grass. Let's put a base coat of green grass in there. And then go and add little details like a little bit of sand near the water and some rocks, and then we'll put a little bit of dirt in there as well. And that's how you do a quick paint of an exhibit. And while the moss is technically a plant, I always consider it a rock, so it's just as important to get your moss work done like your rock work. And at last, let's move away from the rock work, kind of. We might come back to it, you never know. I always have to add in a few rocks here and there. But let's shift over to doing a little bit of climbing frames and a few little trees and plants around to really start prettying up the whole exhibit. And first thing on the list is to add in a bunch of these dead logs everywhere. Never underestimate these logs to really just bring in a little bit of life to your exhibit. Kind of ironic considering they are dead trees. But you know what, in every forest and every habitat there's always dead trees decaying and laying over. So everything just comes together and makes an exhibit look more real, which is what we're always going for in this project. In retrospect, it probably wasn't a smart move putting climbing frames right beside the mesh fences. We're just going to have to warn kids not to stick their fingers through and try to pet the Wolverines. You know, not unless they want to give them a little sausage-sized snack. Maybe next time I open up the zoo, I should probably just remind myself to come in and change that to glass. You know, as much as I love rock work, This is truly my favorite part of any build. Finally, through all that hard work, it all leads to this. Just the coloring with all that green just makes it pop to life, and the exhibit finally comes into its own. Of course, when dealing with animals that can climb, you always need to be rather careful with your placement of your trees. Always try to keep your trees on the exterior where the animals can't reach, and if you have any on the interior, make sure they can't climb up them into the walls. Now, I know in-game you can actually disable the climbing frames on trees, but I like to go with a touch of realism in my habitat builds, so I try to make it look like the animals can't just climb up and escape, even though I know they probably can't in-game. And after long last, the main stars of the attraction have arrived. Oh, Wolverines are here! No, stop that. We're not doing that joke anymore. Get out of here. Alright, now that the Wolverines are here, I can come in and start finally making sure that all the climbing frames work, and that they can get into all the nooks and crannies that we want them to get into, and not into the ones that we don't. And all that's left now is just a few final touches on the exhibit. A few little bushes here and there, a couple little plants. Just minor adjustments to a few rocks. Nothing too special. Just all the little things that need to be done to really bring a whole exhibit that final little spark. I want to thank you all for watching this far. Hopefully you enjoyed another little time-lapse build for the World Zoo project. Feel free to leave a comment down below, let me know if you liked it, or you know what, if you didn't like it, I want to hear too. I always welcome feedback. Feel free to also like the video, and also subscribe. Feel free to do all those things people on YouTube like asking their viewers to do. I am at the mercy of the YouTube algorithm and AI gods, so I believe the more interaction there is on these little videos from people, the more likely it is to push them towards new people to come see the channel. The more people come see the channel, the more encourages me to keep building this fantastic zoo that we're working on. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. The next one is going to be our badgers, another resident of our little underground den area that we're building. But hey, with that whole spiel over, I will leave you now with one final flyby of the whole enclosure. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day everyone. Happy building!